Okay, so we're on YouTube, everyone. So welcome back to session 13 of Student Government Association. It's February 22nd. This should be the last instance of myself, Nick Goymerak, chairing a Senate meeting, stepping in for the vacancy in the vice presidency. So roll call, Joel, have we met quorum? We can do it again.
We have met quorum. We have at least 14 senators with us today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So today's agenda is pretty short. So we have an executive vice president nominee. We followed by a supply chain management org proposal, followed by the standard exec report, senator report, open floor, oath of office, and then finally adjournment. So let's get right into it. So first we have an EVP candidate, Joel Kesley. So this will be operated under unanimous consent. So I'm going to let Joel speak for a few minutes. And then you'll guys have an opportunity to ask some questions. And then I'll just, instead of sending out a ballot, we'll just, if anyone objects, then we'll go to a ballot, but we'll try without having to go to a ballot first. So Joel, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. So I am wanting to step up to the position of EVP or Executive Vice President for SGA in this short time before a new EVP gets elected. I feel like I have quite a bit of experience backing this up since I've been with SGA for now 2 years as the exec assistant who serves directly under the EVP. So I feel like I have a lot of experience regarding, well, what the EVP does and actually working with well, not necessarily the same, very similar areas. So I feel like I am well qualified to be the EVP in this time. In addition to that, I have a bit of other experience leading other organizations, some better than others, such as SPS and excuse me, SPS, and also I am now on the SIGAP exec board as well. That will be all.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joel. So next we're going to move into the standard 5-minute questioning period. I think we have a question from Nova already, which is great. Nova?
Yes, thank you. First off, Joel, I have full faith in you that you'll do amazing at this. I just want to ask one quick question. Do you have any major plans or ideas you kind of want to push with SGA going into your potential vice presidency?
That is a wonderful, wonderful question. Yes, I do. So time is currently short with this particular candidacy, but I believe that there are several things that SGA needs to focus on in terms of its ability to communicate to students as a whole and its involvement with student organizations. And while I might not be able to solve those problems by myself, I might be able to set up the next EVP to have an easier time of being more integrated with student organizations and helping students more directly by supporting our various SGA projects, not products, and starting up new ones. One that I really believe I want to try and support as much as I can is there is currently a student life project, which is wanting to get a crosswalk installed on Footlick Lane because there have been students who have been hit there before. I also want to attempt to increase SGA's involvement in student organizations just so that we can help guide them navigate the campus and university as a whole and enrich the campus life that all of its students experience.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Joel, and Nova for the question too. Does anyone else have any questions? If no one has any questions, a chat, let's see. Okay, so we have a question in the chat, which I'll entertain. I'll read it out for everyone to hear. So Kiru asks, what qualities do you think an EVP should have?
Another good question. The main quality that I personally believe that not just an EVP, but any good person should have is honesty, the ability to say what they really mean. And also head in a direction in a very openly and transparent manner and say, this is the direction that I want to go. If you agree or disagree with me, that is okay. And that works into the second thing that I really hold highly in terms of an EVP is the ability to communicate effectively between parties, even if they have difficulties conversing between them. And that is something that I believe I have. So those are at least the two major qualities.
Yeah, thank you. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joel. And again, thank you, Kiru, for the question. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to move the question, and then we will move into a 5-minute discussion period.
So moved.
And a second.
I second.
Thank you so much. We have 2 seconds. Joel, I'm going to move you into the waiting room while Senate discusses. Perfect. Okay. So now we will begin our 5-minute discussion period. Feel free to raise your hand, type in the chat, raise your hand on camera, raise your hand like in any fashion, and you can speak in favor or against the nominee. Derek?
I just want to say as the former, I just want to say as the former executive VP, I think Joel has a lot of the great qualities that we need in an EVP right now, and I think he'd do a very, very good job. So he has my support.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Derek. I see we have a chat. Oh, Jay says that they are in favor. Thank you for that, Jay. Does anyone else have any comments? I'm assuming Prayag, you're not raising your hand. You're just trying to sympathize or voice support. If there are no more comments, oh, okay, you do have a question, Prayag. Feel free to go.
I was saying that Derek was right that Joe does possess all the qualities. I support him as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry if I butchered your name there. So do we have any other comments? If we don't, we can go to our, it's not releasing a ballot. So we'll decide by unanimous consent, hopefully. So do we have a motion to move to end the discussion period?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right. So we're gonna, like I said, operate under unanimous consent. So I'm gonna give you like any time. I'm gonna give you like 20 seconds to, if you object to the nomination in any way, speak out, raise your hand, chat, anything like that. If no one objects, we're just going to assume he passes by unanimous vote. So we save the time of a ballot. So okay, I think that's enough waiting. So congratulations. Oh, I should let it back in. But congratulations to Joel. He will be sworn in as our executive vice president after open floor. So yeah, great. Joel, I don't know if you're reconnecting or anything, but congratulations. Let me be the first to congratulate you. You passed unanimously. So you will be sworn in at the end of open floor.
Neat.
Yeah. On to our next item. We have an org proposal today from the Supply Chain Management Club, or SCM. Are you guys in the call?
Yes, we are. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So
Do you have a presentation or anything?
yes, we do have it. So is this the time we should go for it?
Yeah, let me make you a co-host real quick. Or are you the person that's sharing?
Okay, let me see if I can share it. Nope, I'm still disabled.
I just made you a co-host now. Try now.
Okay, let me know if you guys can see it.
We can see perfectly.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I am Meet Patel, a student with INTM department. This presentation is to explain about proposed supply chain management and technology chapter at IIT. So for any proposed organization, purpose and goals must be clearly decided before starting anything. The purpose of this chapter is to facilitate IIT students by providing various platforms and opportunities to expand their knowledge in the SCM, that is supply chain management sector, make and grow their network with industry, and help them to advance their career. Events like expert session, plant or site visits, competitions supported by industry, and industrial projects are a few things to create such opportunities. These opportunities will help to achieve the goal of this chapter, that is to bring SCM industry professionals and IIT students together so that students can gain knowledge and establish network. The obvious question is how the proposed chapter is different. As mentioned here, there are four major reasons. The very first reason is that there's no active chapter in IIT to support students who are aspiring to build their career in SCM area. Chapters like ASCM and CSCMP were available in IIT before COVID-19. Had it been a single SCM student chapter than these two, students can have more scope to without limiting to specific organization. They can have some more scope of growing and expanding their knowledge. As you know, SCM field is still in focus since COVID-19 has started. A classic example is empty shelves you see while shopping. Such issues have brought a lot of importance and focus on SCM worldwide. Many things have changed. SCM student chapter would like to provide opportunities to IIT students which were untapped since COVID-19 started. Coming to the organizational aspects, this is a proposed board with one faculty advisor and one department director as an advisor. We have already got written consent from each name given here, and some of them are already present in this meeting. Now, very important point is how do we plan to provide platforms and opportunities we have been talking about till now. These are the list of events we plan to organize. It is obvious that we might not be able to conduct these many events in one semester. However, we are sure that we will be able to conduct such events throughout an academic year. Expert session events organized by ASCM or CSCMP. These two are the forums recognized internationally, the ASCM and CSCMP. Then plant or site visits, industry supported case competitions, industrial projects are some programs we plan to organize. Now the main topic for today's discussion, that is budget. Considering limitations in organizing number of events, we decided that 3 events can be easily organized per semester by a group. In fact, we have already got a proposal of case competition organized by ASCM in this week. One team of 5 students from INTN department has already shown their interest to participate. Now, coming back to the budget, after many iterations in finalizing budget based on the guidance from OCL team, $200 per event has been finalized with admin expenses as $400 per semester. The numbers shown here are indicative and we might revise based on initial experience of a few programs. The proposed budget is based on the discussion with OCL. And that's it. We are open for question and answer now.
All right, thank you so much for that, Meet. The slides looked very professional. So we'll move into our 5-minute questioning period. And I love it. Nova, I see you already have a question.
Thank you. First off, I just want to open with SCM. Sounds like a great idea. I think it's a good thing to kind of have on campus. I just wanted to ask, has there been any consideration to have SCM as a class as opposed to a club? clearly, I mean, you showed there's some interest with staff and students, so I imagine it might not be too hard. And this sounds like, if I hear SCM, in my head, it sounds like a class that students would be taking. So I was just wondering if
Yes,
any considerations.
So in INTM department, we have classes for SCM, advanced SCM, and we have a specialization available for students who take 4 subjects in those category of SCM. So those things are already available, and you're right, those classes are going full.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question, Nova. Next, I see Elio. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just want to ask one question only. So this all sounds like a really good idea. I'm honestly for it. But I do want to make sure that you can answer this one question is, of the existing organizations on campus that can already provide similar opportunities, what should specifically stand out about yours that would set it apart from these other organizations, other than the fact that they're able to provide, a bit more experience? As I'm sure you're aware, there's plenty of other organizations that are offered across campus for the different majors, including INTM. So what sets yours specifically apart? I would just like to know a little bit more about that.
Sure, that's a great question. So as I said, there are many internationally recognized forums, as you can see on the screen, ASCM and CSCMP. So these are the organizations having professionals specifically in the field of supply chain management. Now, supply chain management, as we can see or imagine, it is not just managing the material from one end to another end. It is a vast subject. So those who want to build their career in SCM, we need to give focused programs. For example, case competition, which I talked about. So in there, the industry experts give a real-time case, and the students try to solve that case using some software, some techniques of SCM, and some connections in the industry. So this is a very specific to SCM program. Another thing is expert session of SCM. So there are many such specific things designed for this area of supply chain management. And in COVID-19, I'm sure that you also must have faced some shortage of material and all those things. So with more focus going on to the SCM in the world right now, we also thought that it is important to give a bigger platform, a better platform to students, so that they can connect to the specific people. So I am a student who is going to be graduated with a specialization or major in SCM, right? So I would like to get connected with people who are there in SCM area in the industry. And this yes, that is good that there are some other chapters available, but they might not be focusing more to connect SCM specialized students, connecting them with the industry experts of the same field. So this is a very specific goal and purpose for this chapter, and I hope I'm answering your question.
Yeah, no, you did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Do we have any more questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to move the question and go into discussion period.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Perfect. Meet, I'm going to move you into the waiting room. I'll let you in once the senators are done discussing, all right?
Sure.
All right, his name kept on moving around. Sorry about that. So we're going to start our 5-minute discussion period. So anyone, I know Jay made a comment about the funding, but anyone that has a comment, concern, wants to speak in favor of it, feel free to raise your hand on camera with the raise hand, anything like that, and I'll call on you. Nova?
I mean, just shortly, I'm sure everyone already noticed this, but it seems pretty clear that they have the interest, they have the reason. It seems like they have a lot of this set up and ready, and they have a good purpose and goal in mind. I really like the fact that they talked about linking up with national chapters. I just think this is a pretty easy yay vote, and yeah, I'm speaking in favor. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Nova. I see someone in chat before Elio raised their hand. So I just want to draw people's attention. They're talking about the budget, and they made another comment. Elio?
Sorry about that. That was misclick.
Oh, no problem at all. So just again, everyone look at Jay's chat, and then anyone else wants to make a comment. If not, I would entertain a motion to end discussion and release the voting form.
So moved.
Thank you, Nova. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Elio. You two guys are active today. Okay, the motion, oh, I guess, okay, it's fine. Joel, please release the voting forms. Senators, you'll have until the end of open floor to cast your ballot. Yeah, I'm gonna let the meet back in, and then we will move on to exec reports. I'm just gonna give it a minute for meet to join back, and then we'll move
Yeah, I'm here.
on. Okay, thank you, meet. We'll announce the results at the end of exec report. So Ben.
Hello. I cannot see the slides right now, so I think.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to share again. Thank you for the reminder. There we go.
All right. So hopefully we will have a vote on the Senate vacancies next week. We still need nominees for VP of Events, and now we need nominees for Executive Assistant. So if you've got people who would make a good Executive Assistant, please let us know ASAP. Candygrams. We have gotten a donation of candy to sell candygrams ahead of Valentine's Day. Our hope is to sell them for about $1, donate the proceeds to a local charity. Currently, we're looking at the Brave Space Alliance, though if you have ideas of other charities, ideally in Bronzeville or Bridgeport, so they're relatively close to the university, that'd be great. We have time reserved on the tables February 7th to February 14th to sell said candygrams. So if you are available to help, or this is a project you want to get involved with, I will put an announcement on the Slack channel. We'll have a meeting about it sometime between now and Saturday. So please look forward for that announcement and join us if you're available. The Scholarship Symposium is happening tomorrow and Friday. SGA is tabling on the bridge between 11:30 and 1. If you're available and would like to represent SGA, please let me know so we can schedule you to be there. We have a Constitution discussion meeting this Saturday in Pritzker Sciences, room 111, from noon to 3 p.m. RSVP if you want pizza and Pepsi products. The RSVP link is on the Slack channel and the announcements thread. It's also on ITSC. Virtual options will be available. A Zoom link will be set up and sent out shortly. And finally, the office move is happening. We finally have keys. So we will be moving the office from MTCC to Herman Hall February 12th. So Cthulhu has finally photogonned. The move is finally happening. We will be out of MTCC and into Herman Hall on the 12th.
Yeah, thank you so much for those updates, Ben. Next, we have campus admin. And instead of Rachel, we have the even equally lovely Celestine.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. The updates that I wanted to provide was regarding a lot of the spring fairs that we have coming up. They're more niche and specialized fairs, so make sure you know the schedule so that you will be present. And we do have student registrations open now. We opened it this week. So check those out. We also have Black History Month that we are celebrating. And in addition to the fairs, just the first 2 weeks in February, we have bridge recruiting. And that's when we have companies come out and they'll be at the tables in MTCC for about say 2 or 3 hours, 11 to 2 o'clock, and they'll be promoting positions or opportunities with various companies. And that's it. And we'll have some more information to come. It's going to be a company coming on campus for patent engineering or for patents. So any students that's interested in that, it's going to actually take place next week, but it's before the meeting. So it'll be Tuesday. So if I can get that information to Ben to share, we'll have it. I just didn't have the full details, but it'll be next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And I'll have the location to provide that as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sure Ben would be more than happy to distribute the information if you send it to him. I see
Okay.
Nabiha raised her hand. Do you have a question?
Yeah. So these career fairs are all in MTCC. So all those tables.
No, they're a combination of virtual fairs and in-person fairs. And the in-person fairs are generally scheduled in the evening. And we were
Okay.
trying to embody the concept of one of the student fairs that took place October 20th last year. That model, it was well received by the companies where it was more of a niche type of fair for specialization. And
But
that's what we were trying to duplicate.
But the ones from MTCC that says 11 to 2 o'clock, is that
Oh,
also?
no, those are not fairs. They're considered bridge recruiting events. And these are just individual companies, up to 3 companies a day, Tuesday through Thursday. And they're
Okay.
just going to be on campus, but it's more of a smaller type of event. So it's
Okay.
more controlled. And we'll be doing this up until, I would say, April. So we'll have different promotions with different companies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. Nova, I see another question.
Yes. So I noticed on Wednesday and one of the events on Thursday, it says on campus fair. Is that also on the bridge or is that somewhere else?
The Wednesday for February 23rd.
Yes.
Oh, no, that will be on campus. Yes, it will be probably in Herman Hall.
Okay, thank you.
Because most of the on-campus events, they're going to be up to about 30 companies, except for architecture. Architecture will be held in their building, but the other ones will be in Herman Hall, and all the virtuals will be naturally online.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great questions, everyone. Thank you for
Yeah, I like that because it lets me know you're listening and you're engaging.
Yeah.
So definitely, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming and informing us. So if there aren't any more questions, we'll move on to senator reports. Do senators have anything to report?
Yes.
Oh, Elio, perfect.
Do you mind if I get share screen privileges really quick?
Yeah, of course. Let me make you a co-host real quick.
So while you do that, I'm not sure if you all saw my Slack post a couple of weeks ago about my concern about us returning to campus. At this point, it's quite obsolete to not return to campus because we are 2 weeks into the semester. But I would just like to point something out that I did receive some information from someone who I know very closely. He gathered this information. I'll keep his name anonymous, but he gathered this information from the university itself, as well as data that he was able to obtain. And it's honestly quite shocking that the university essentially did not accurately report COVID cases. These are the COVID cases. The blue line was the 1 week running average that the university had reported up until the 21st. After the 21st, for an entire week, they did not report COVID cases. During that week, it was estimated that the COVID cases would continue to decline. It turns out that they actually went up completely. And as you can see, there was a massive spike in COVID cases. And honestly, I found this quite upsetting, not going to lie. This was really upsetting when I saw it because, for one, the university lied to us about this. And that's quite honestly a threat to student life itself. The academia of our university, it's a threat to everybody on campus. And it worried me quite a bit. And basically, this is all the data he also gathered about COVID testing. And if you remember correctly, we received an email that required everybody to have to take a COVID test before returning to on-campus lectures. That was not completely the case. As you can see, these numbers show that not everybody took a COVID test, and yet here we are still on campus. And not many students received repercussions for not taking the test when we were specifically and explicitly told to take a test. And the test results per week, these also spiked quite a bit here in 2022. And again, we were not made aware of that, as you can see in the graphs. We were not immediately made aware of it, at least. And there's staff tests to prove that. There are tests since January 1st to prove that. There's 3 months worth of tests that can prove things did not line up when the university initially sent us the case reports every week. So I just want to make sure that we can get across something as a Senate floor to, I don't know, we need to do something to make sure that the university needs to be a bit more honest with us when it comes to this, because quite honestly, it frightened me that I had to go back to a lecture full of 140 people, and I was not completely sure if they had actually tested negative or heck even taken a test. I just want to make sure that people are aware of this, that that we're completely honest for our students, that we need to make sure the university is honest itself. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, thank you for that Senator report, Elio. I see Nova has a question or comment of some kind.
Yes, I do. You're right. This isn't a Senate report, but this is for Elio. Obviously, what you've reported is quite alarming. I just want to ask if it doesn't possibly risk the anonymity of whoever you got this information from, where in the administration or where from IIT did they get this information? Because I'm just curious to make sure, this is really as alarming as you are making it out to be.
This information was actually received from our weekly reports sent. We get that weekly email, or at least that, bi-weekly email from a person. Yeah, Naeem Muhammad posted that website. That's where we got all our information. And the case reports did change post and pre 21st of January. So yeah, that's where he got it from.
Okay. So I'm sorry if I could ask just a follow up then. So is the claim you're making that the initial report they sent out, the weekly report, lower than what the numbers were, and they just updated it after the fact?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, next I see a question or comment from Kiru.
Hi. Yeah, sorry. Oop. I was wondering, have you reached out to anyone specifically in admin to confirm this, or Hillary? I'm not saying that it's not bad, but I just want to know if more you reached out to people more, because this is really shocking.
The person that gave me this information, I was actually sort of working with them on trying to get this information out. He did attempt to email Hillary Hudson about this, and he was redirected to somebody else, which was then redirected to another person. I'm not exactly sure who these people are, but I do know that they're part of the administration, and they basically he was talking to a wall, basically.
All right. And then next I see Alejandro.
Yeah. So I want to point out that shoot, what's happening with my voice? Anyway, that Elio made some very good points, and I do agree also that it's pretty alarming. One thing I'd like to point out that specifically with the negative test is that when you have people from all across the world trying to make it to one place in a certain amount of time, I think the reason why people seem to be a little bit lax about people submitting a negative test is because maybe they understand that lots of people are going through all sorts of different circumstances. Some people have difficulty accessing tests on time. Some people have delays in getting their results, or maybe they're getting the results, but then at the last minute something weird happens that they end up having to quarantine, or they end up testing positive when they weren't expecting to, or weird stuff like that. I mean, that's just the beginning of the list, but lots of weird stuff happens, which I think is why they're letting them in. So yeah, I just want to point that out.
That's completely understandable. And honestly, I don't blame international students or people coming from long distances. I mean, for myself, I had trouble trying to find a COVID test that I could even take. I was really close to not being able to come back that Monday when we came back. But I just think that the university probably did lag behind when it came to accurately reporting the tests. I'm not so much worried about every student taking a test. Rather, I was worried about them inaccurately reporting the positive rates. That's what I was more worried about. I'm not sure if that's what I was more worried about. I was less worried about the fact that we were taking tests, more worried about the inaccuracies in the reporting that the university was making. So hope that helps.
Yeah, I'm sure all the senators appreciate the clarification. Do we have any other reports separate from this, or any more comments or questions?
I have a report.
Yeah, great, Derek.
So the executive elections are going on right now. Nominations are open for any of the executive board positions in SGA, and we are actively looking for nominations. I'll send a link in the Slack for everybody to access it if they haven't seen it already. But nominations will close next Friday, was the February, I think the 11th, or the 9th. Nominations will close so next week, next Wednesday. So make sure you get your nominations in. We hope to see you guys running. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, thank you for that report, Derek. Are there any more reports or any questions, comments, concerns about Derek's report? If not, we'll move on to open floor. And this is just a reminder, all senators, please cast your votes for the org proposal. The ballots will close at the end of open floor, and we will tally the results at the end of open floor. So last chance to cast your vote. Shahan?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna just jump straight into this. I have a bunch of, I guess, grievances, a big list of grievances from several senators in SGA actively and senators who have resigned. I think it's important that we understand why people have left the organization or why they're no longer in the organization. This is a bunch of stuff I'm just gonna kind of read out. And let me also preface this by saying this is not targeting anybody, not targeting any groups. No one is focused. In my opinion, most of these issues are fundamentally with the structure of the organization and the way the organization is structured. That's what I just said. So I'm just going to read this out, and then I'm going to kind of talk more from myself, if that makes sense. So right now I'm just reading. So the structure of the organization is fundamentally flawed. We essentially have three branches, with the executive branch almost acting as a fourth, with like a weird responsibility, with strange responsibilities like in between the several branches. So they're both in charge of the organization as a whole, but they're also active and on the Senate committee, if that makes sense, of all the branches. And from what I've noticed in my 2 years now on SGA, is that finance board and on occasion judicial board are the most effective branches and the ones that actually do like actual work, if that makes sense. this being because without an actual active finance board, the school and all organizations on campus would be unable to operate because they wouldn't be getting any money. So finance board has almost a duty to actually be doing real active work because they are an integral part to the organization. And so I think that's where the rift has often come up as to why finance board and SGA are seen as two separate entities when in fact they are a branch of SGA. And I know people have been working on mending that rift for the longest time and trying to work on incorporation and all of that. But I think that the reason that that still persists is because of how the organization is structured. Okay, so now I'm going more into just what I've been sent by a bunch of people, but our governing documents have been and are incredibly outdated and inconsistent. That's been an upcoming or ongoing topic of discussion, hopefully resolved this weekend. Our executive board has devolved into a shouting match with progress being a tertiary goal. Also, this organization has incredibly high turnover. I know we're looking at possibly increasing the amount of seats that the Senate has, but we seem to have trouble even maintaining the seats that we already have. So this should be a big goal for anybody who's coming into any new position or anything such as that to look forward to and to focus on. We've taken some of the most ambitious and determined students on campus, only for them to recognize that not much actually gets done in this organization. And so, at least in my case, I've noticed that I've gotten much more done for the local community and for the school in several other organizations that I'm a part of, where I'm actually impacting students and the local Bronzeville community. Let's see, furthermore, toxic culture of the old guard. Instead of encouraging new members to speak up and present new ideas, they are often bashed and their ideas are often repressed. The old guard claims to not want to be inclusive or incorporate new ideas with no intention of doing so. To continue on, a quick anecdotal direct quote from someone else is, I joined SGA because I wanted to meet new people and help make the culture at IIT better, with the hope of finding another community to be a part of as well. And during my time as a senator, SGA failed to meet my expectations. Ultimately, I resigned because I didn't feel welcome or at least a part of the SGA community. And I didn't think my time spent was amounting to anything. And then I have more stuff here. Senate meetings often felt cliquey, and the format made it really difficult to get to know any other senators. And that was only the time where we were all together, which was not very welcoming. What is disheartening, especially, is that SGA is supposed to represent the entire student body, and often you can't do that if you don't know who your fellow senators and representatives are. No introduction to the basic workings of SGA or any formal language used after getting voted into Senate at the end of spring 2021. Committees were a joke, nothing got done, and it felt like a chore versus a chance to make a difference. For committees, I envisioned everyone working together on a project or actioning it, but instead we all did separate projects, which is very isolating and felt like it wasn't the best way to utilize everyone's strengths. More powerful and impactful as a collective, or I guess they're saying it would be more powerful and impactful to work as a collective group rather than all these isolated projects, which we're then setting arbitrary goals and milestones for, and then not following up on them. Also felt like this was a way for VPs to put the work on committee members and leave less work for them, but often VPs were doing the majority of the work themselves, or finding it difficult to delegate work. Let me take a big sip of this water because my mouth is drying out. Okay, exec board seemed very unorganized and didn't always have this person didn't always have faith that things were running how they should be or could be running. And some people in the exec board seemed like they were just doing it for the position or to put it on their resume, and definitely did not have the time to do the role right. Keeping everyone on track for committee projects as an example, or consistent communication updates or help with projects. Or and then another one here to kind of end off this long grievance list is it was just not fun or worth their time. And then after having read this long grievances that you've now I guess read into the record. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my quick experience with SGA, and then like how it's, I guess, worked out to this point. I joined SGA in fall of 2020 as a freshman on this campus during COVID, because I saw that there were a lot of I guess, blatant issues on campus, and I felt really ambitious about hopefully working to solve those issues, and I guess working with my local community. During that time, in my opinion, we actually accomplished quite a bit. I was senator. I joined, or I also became sergeant at arms. Now, definitely factoring into all of this is obviously the COVID pandemic, which pushed us online and also made it really difficult to connect with others. So I think that's definitely like, obviously there's several factors contributing to all the stuff that I've read out. Once again, I'm just reading it out, and it's not towards anybody. And I hope everybody understands that this is mostly, in my opinion, once again, it comes down to the way the organization is structured, because it creates very, I guess, a very toxic culture and a just fundamentally flawed communication between different organizations. For instance, catching up to where I am right now, I'm currently the VP of Communications, but I've found that I haven't been able, well, okay, what I found is when I came into the position last semester, I was super duper ambitious. I wanted to get a lot of stuff done. I set goals, and I actually did finish up a few things, and then it just seemed as though nothing had been, I guess, followed, if that makes sense. Nothing was being carried out or enforced, if that makes sense. And so along the way, I realized that I could personally, I found more, I guess the best way to word this is I found more appreciation in the other organizations that I was a part of on campus. So for those of you that don't know, I'm like super involved on campus. Thank you, Samir, because you definitely got me involved in a lot of stuff. And oh no, did I disconnect? Sorry, did I disconnect?
No,
there?
you're still here, Shahan.
Oh, okay. My screen like stopped. Okay, whatever. So what I found is in all these other organizations, I've been able to have a direct impact on my local community. I actually like talk to students. I do things in other organizations that feel that they are worthwhile, and I just don't get the same feeling from SGA anymore. And once again, I going back to this again to reiterate, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, that it is a fundamental issue with the way the organization is structured. Some issues that I personally have faced, and this seems like all over the place, but most of it was structured, and then I'm just kind of throwing stuff around. But for me, I have found that I've been unable to meet many meetings in this organization. That's on me. I guess I don't have the bandwidth with all the other stuff I'm involved with to have been giving SGA the amount of time that I meant to be giving it. And so with that, I am saying that I will be resigning effective tomorrow morning after I make a transition document. But other reasons that I am resigning are also that I found the VP of Communications role seems to be very irrelevant or insignificant. And in fact, I would say that it should probably be merged with the VP of Events position. And then what's it called? Once again, I don't have the capacity or bandwidth at the time to make the impact in this role that I would want to make. I actually meant to resign, let me think, like 3 months ago, but I kind of stayed just to see if I could try to push things in the right direction. At least what I thought was right direction, but it was difficult for me. So this all being said, I am resigning. Biggest reason would definitely be lack of progress. I feel like I haven't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and also it's just barrier after barrier when trying to accomplish those things. Also, I will likely be hanging out as a volunteer, similar to how Samir was a volunteer, only because I am so involved on this campus that I am bound to run into many other student leaders here. But yeah, that's just a huge rant that I just went through. I'm not asking questions. Don't want anybody to like talk about this or anything like that. I mean, you guys can discuss on your own. I don't mind. But just wanted to get that all out, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's all. Cool.
Thank you for that, Shahan. Thank you for your service. And it will be unfortunate to see you go. Next hand I see is Kiru.
Hi, yeah. Thank you, Shahan, for all of that. I hope you also find enjoyment leaving like some other people have. My question was actually for Chloe and whoever's on finance board. I noticed that a lot of budgets weren't like fully funded, and I know that this was like the one and only hearing of the semester. So I was curious as to where the rest of the money was going to go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Chloe.
Okay, cool. I have weird connection, so if I cut out, sorry about that. So we funded most, if not all budgets, just according to policy. Some things were cut down, but like with a note saying, you know, like we need to talk or sort this out. For the most part though, we budgeted about, I think it was 85% of the total SAF that we got this semester, and we saved 15% for the second hearing of the semester to cover that, and then any summer conferences.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, sorry. Can I ask a follow-up question then?
Yeah, sure.
So if 85% was spent, was the SAF lower this semester than like previous years? Because I feel like not a lot of money was spent. Sorry.
Yeah, so 2 points to that. First, the SAF has historically been lower in the spring semester because we have people graduating, and just lower enrollment numbers. So that's part of it. The other part was, which I mentioned a couple times, I think like the beginning of last semester, the SAF was overspent for like a couple of years. So what we thought we actually were getting each semester wasn't an accurate number. This was the first time, last semester was the first time we actually pulled an actual SAF report, and the numbers were much lower.
Okay, last follow-up question. Do you have like a ballpark number of what the SAF was this semester?
Off the top of my head, no, but I do have the report and I can get that information from you. I just have to check my email.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the questions, Kiru, and thank you for being so clear, Chloe. The next person I see is Nova.
Thank you. So I just want to know, this is not a set of questions, but it is somewhat of a response to Shahan's list of grievances. I'm not going to make it that long, don't worry. I noticed there's a lot of other people who want to speak, but I do want to speak real quick on some of my personal experiences. I do share a lot of his grievances. Like a lot of what he said does come from a genuine place of care and observation of this institution. I just want to say, I am really trying to be involved in SGA. And one of the things I've been doing this semester is I personally have been starting to open a lot of channels of communications with a lot of executive board members in order to find a way to make SGA be a lot more functional and a trustworthy institution among students, as in ways of how to contact SGA, its purpose. And from the conversation that I've had so far, it's only a month into the semester. A lot of the exec board members, this is something they genuinely want to push. Like, this is something I think all of us, I think I could say, want to move forward with. I think everyone would like to see an SGA that's more empowered by the students. Along with methods of increasing senator accountability, I think that's one of the ways forward in that. You also brought up governing documents. And as you did bring up, governing documents are having a big 3-hour meeting this Saturday. If you can attend, if you're interested at all, if you want to help SGA move forward. I'm not the one running this, but I would gladly invite you to go. Anyone who's looked into the governing documents knows how interesting they are, to say in a nice way. And the more input people can bring, I think will bring it forward a better SGA that can be more functional. And my final comment is, Shahan, you brought up this retired senator brought up about the old guard. As a freshman senator, I was elected last August. I have not run into this at all. And maybe I'm wrong, you know, I just want to speak on myself to provide another perspective, but I have not run into an old guard at all. Every single senator that, every time I bring out an idea, either in committee or in these meetings or something like that, I've had a flood of senators who have been willing to help me. In particular, the exec board have been amazing. As people who are willing to help me, I haven't felt any resistance. And a lot of the people who have been here for a while seem like they want to, again, like I said earlier, make SGA better. Yeah, no, I get what you mean, Shahan. I'm just saying as a response to the old guard comment. I know that wasn't your personal opinion. And then just for committees, I can't speak for all committees, but as student life, I feel like at least this year, we've been getting a lot done. We do have a lot of different projects, but I feel as if our VP, just to, you know, give Samir more credibility today, he has been really good at pulling in all members of student life to make sure we move forward with projects really well. But obviously, I can't speak for all committees, but I just wanted to say, I say all this as a way to provide an alternative set of experiences to the ones that Shahan provided. But I do agree, again, all of these grievances are totally legitimate. And I do hope we can, as everyone in here, as an institution, move forward to being a more legitimate, functional institution that every student can understand and get behind. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Nova. Next, I see Sandy.
I just wanted to thank Shahan for, you know, if he's leaving this week or next week, for all the work that he did do. And I also do want to acknowledge that, you know, last semester was not the best. You know, I don't know as exact if we were the best in any capacity. I will give it to Finance Board for doing the work from the ground up. They did an amazing job. Same thing as the Justice. And I do want to apologize on behalf of the Exec Board. Do I think we did our due diligence? No. Do we think we had the most best projects? No. Do I think we were the best? No. You know, there's obviously a turnover rate. What I will say is that we are very open to listening, and that, you know, if students feel that, like, you know, we're going to be hostile, I personally don't think I hold that attitude toward anybody. And, you know, if they do want to come forward or give us ways to improve, you know, we don't have that many months left for second semester, but what we don't want to do is just let it completely die. You know, I do know that there is a lot of internal issues. I know that IIT as an institution has a lot of administrative issues. I know specifically for academic affairs, you know, it was very hard to coordinate meetings or to meet with us with remote or not. And so I will say that, you know, if any students have ideas, have suggestions, want to meet with academic affairs, want to come to me, want to come to any of us, like, we want to work with you. And like, again, like, I do want to say sorry, because I feel like we could have done a lot more work, and I don't think it was fair to anybody for all of these execs, especially leaving. I know for myself, like, there were moments in time where, like, I wanted to leave myself because I truly felt like I had the most minimal impact in this board, and that's not a healthy work dynamic. And if senators specifically don't feel empowered in a committee, you know, it's not going to be any more transformative for IIT or each other. So I do want to say that if you're still going to currently be a senator, you know, there's still work to do, and like, we're very open to hearing your guys' input.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sandy. Next, I see Naeem.
Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I guess I just want to start off by saying, well, I'm not resigning, don't worry. But it has really been just a quite semester. Well, no, I mean, honestly, yeah, let me just kind of organize myself. Actually, if you all could come back to me after there are a few things I want to say. I'm just gonna try and organize it. So if you could come back to me after Chloe or so, and Jason, you can go ahead next. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Next, I see Jason.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. So two things. One, I was curious, as we mentioned in the chat, is there a way that we can get just like some fiscal data and like a written report on like some of the things that finance board kind of like was discussing, so that way there could just be some more like clarity on these topics, and we could be able to show and share. I think that would just be really helpful and just really open. So that was my first thing. Chloe, do you have any remarks to that, or?
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
The reports as in like the SAF rates, as well as like Benjamin mentioned, the roughly 20% in the last 5 years. So 20% less, just like seeing some of that statistical data, I think would be really, really helpful.
Yeah, I can talk to OCL. They get that report from, I think, someone in procurement, and then they send it down, and that should have that information. So I'll talk to Rachel tomorrow about that and see what we can get sent out.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. Obviously, get rid of the confidential data, but then, keep the general stuff that we get sent out there. I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely helpful for me to find out for the first time too. So yeah, I'll see what I can do about that.
Awesome. Thank you. And then point number 2, is that all right? Nick, am I good to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. Point number 2, I just got to be honest, like I've been here since fall of 2019. And with these grievances though, in the past, I remember just being able to go up to myself and other senators included, going up to exec, being able to speak about this, not waiting and not having to compile a list. So clearly, I feel like even though we went virtual, there was other barriers and borders put up between people that's made it hard to communicate and be open with our feelings, especially on the exec board. And seeing the exec board leave, I really felt, call it cliche, SGA is supposed to be a family. We're supposed to be a unit and a group. And by everybody leaving, I know I felt left out. And I know that we're struggling, but in an effective team and a team, sometimes you got to get together and you still got to be able to deliver, because we have students depending on us and we're supposed to be there for them. So it's really hard. And I know I haven't seen from the exec, I'm not calling anybody out, but I haven't seen other exec boards when exec members are leaving, them saying, wait, please, like, let's stay, let's talk about it. I haven't heard of any background meetings going on to keep it together and keep us moving forward. I have seen Nick coming up and helping out as EVP, and, Joel stepping up as well. That's nice. But from, I would like to see more of the dedication to SGA, even though, yeah, times are tough, but we're in SGA through thick and thin and still there for each other. So I just would like to see that coming forward. And I know it's been rough, but I'm hoping, new elections coming up, that we can start fresh from everybody, new and old members, and just start fresh. So I just want to say that, maybe get some more perspective on that, but it's really disheartening. And especially looking from an outside perspective, that's just tough.
Thank you for that, Jason. Next, I see Elio.
Yes, I just want to touch upon what Shahan said is, yeah, although I don't necessarily see an old guard present in the Senate, I really haven't drafted that many things myself, so I can't really speak from that point of view. But I will say that there are absolutely some fundamental flaws in the way the executive side of SGA is actually set up. And I would like to push for a bit more change and trying to change that. And I don't want to go into specifics right now as it's really late. And I honestly think everybody does want to get to sleep. But I will say there are some fundamental changes that need to be done. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elio. Chloe?
Hey, yeah. So, I just wanted to follow up on some of the finance board stuff. I went ahead and pulled up the ledger that you all probably had a chance to review, and I did want to include that it's missing two line items that I have to put in there. One of them was not in there because it's automatic, but automatically just off the top, 65,000 is taken from the SAF, and that's what's put into student org accounts for printing and GBMs. Every semester we have about 100 and I think 40 or 50 something. I don't know the exact number. Just divide that number by 420 and then that's how many organizations we have. So that's automatically taken off the top. And then Union Board is allocated this semester $82,000. So that's additional on top of what you're seeing in the ledger. So that might make a little more sense budget wise. Other than that, as you all probably know, well, a lot of you are newer, but some of the people who have been here, Finance Board has been super secretive for a really long time about everything. One of my biggest efforts this semester was being as transparent as I could with everything. That's why, we have the published ledgers, but I appreciate all your feedback on getting out even more information there. So I'm definitely going to reach out to the right people and see how we can get that information out there because it's your money. You all deserve to know where it's going and know what's going on with it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Chloe. And then I see Naeem again. Did you just leave your hand up or?
No, I want to come back and speak. Thank you for the time. So like I've been here at this school since fall of 2019. So I had about one normal semester before hell broke loose. And as soon as COVID started, I remember my last day, I think, of actual classes or last weekday on campus was my birthday in 2020, which is March 13th. And then after that, everything just started falling apart. We all had to go home, so on and so forth. And kind of in the midst of all that, I, began joining a lot of organizations looking to help because originally I didn't join too many orgs on campus because I was trying to get a feel for college. It was still my freshman year, but I felt like I needed help. So SGA was one of many things I got involved in. As many of you all know now, I am in SGA, I'm in PSAC, I'm in RHA, NESB, and on the exec board of a lot of these. So it has been a true privilege to work with you all. I've been technically a senator since early 2020. However, I think after looking at this past administration of SGA, I think as we go forward with elections into a new administration, there need to be some things that we need to come to peace with. And this is not directed at anyone in particular. However, I truly have to say, I feel the way a lot of things have been run in this current administration have just been a goddamn disgrace, really, if I'm going to be fully honest. And I know you all usually get your happy talk from me, so I'm sorry that's not what's going to happen right now. We have made commitments to be a part of this org. Anyone in exec definitely made a commitment to serve the students of this university. I always like to pull out that scandal phrase, like we are the gladiators. For the students of this organization, that we're standing up for students on this campus so that they have their rights, so that they are treated as students. And we are here to ensure that they get what they deserve on this campus as students, and that they are represented in front of administration as best as we can. And I feel we lost sight of this from day one of this new administration. And really, I'm going to be honest, there are so many things I want to do with SGA, mainly in regard to partnering. RHA in particular, we've been trying to get RHA off the ground. That has been very successful. We just had 50 attendants at our last RHA meeting not 2 weeks ago. So things have been going very well there. I've been scared. Thank you, Jason. That was a really damn good meeting. I will give myself credit for that. I was scared to interact with some of this executive board this past semester, and I'm sorry, some of you people have scared the living shit out of me. It's really been terrifying, because what we hear are these rumors of infighting and disagreement. And what we see are these little publicity stunts, essentially, in front of the Senate. And what example does that set for the rest of Senate? I mean, how do we expect the rest of us, the rest of the student population, to be motivated to stand up for one another when this is the example that you have given us? And the thing is, we've let this little charade and these little factions essentially go on for months and months and months. And it has been exhausting coming on every night to hear about who is upset with who, and to essentially see someone trying to influence someone else, or whatever it is. I don't even care anymore. It's just really been a shame. And I think when you make a commitment to be a part of this organization, when you make a commitment for exec, you know, it is nice to have your name in the lights. Oh, you know, I'm exec, so whatever. You know, that's fine and all. But what are you doing for students? What are you doing to set an example on this campus to make Senate, you know, the best it can be, to make SGA the best it can be? You have to have that at the heart of, you know, why you're being here. You have to have it as your primary motivation. And I feel like we just kicked that to the curb. And it has really been sad to see what I'm going to essentially call all of this clout chasing from day one of elections, from people who have no motivation to actually serve their damn office as best as they can, and either gave up too early or just immediately started fighting with someone else. That has been disheartening to see. It has been disheartening to witness. And I please ask that if you do not have the intentions to represent this student body with the respect that it deserves and the work that it deserves, that you please get the hell out and stay away, because it is not fair to the students on this campus that you come here not to do your job and not to do, you know, what students elected you or put you in place for, that you are not here for them. That is who we serve first. And if you've lost sight of that, then you do not need to be here. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Naeem. I think it's a good point that you make about knowing that the students are watching us. Again, just a reminder, we're live streaming on YouTube, and I think there's someone from Tech News on the call. So just remember that when you're fighting with each other, you're fighting in front of the student body. Isaiah, I saw your hand was up, and then it went down. I'm not sure if you changed your mind about talking or if it just timed out. You changed your mind. Perfect. Thank you. So does anyone have any last minute questions or reports or anything like that? If not, I will go back to sharing my screen. You guys broke the streak of Nick having short meetings. So yeah, so first we will move on to the oath of office for the new Executive Vice President, Joel Kesley.
All right, Joel, if you could repeat after me.
All right.
Ready? I, Executive Vice President Kelsey,
I, Executive Vice President Kelsey,
do hereby affirm that I shall justly support
do hereby affirm that I shall justly support
and defend the Constitution and bylaws
and defend the Constitution and bylaws
of the Student Government Association
of the Student Government Association
of the Illinois Institute of Technology.
of the Illinois Institute of Technology.
I vow to fulfill my obligations
I vow to fulfill my obligations
to my fellow students
to my fellow students,
and my duties as Executive Vice President
and my duties as Executive Vice President
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Executive Vice President Kelsey.
All right, I
I'd
was
also
waiting
like
for.
to promise to represent the students in the best capacity I can.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Joel. I was like honestly waiting for a round of applause and I was confused why I didn't hear clapping. So I still haven't fully adjusted to Zoom meetings, I guess. So congratulations, Joel. The only last thing we have on our agenda is the results of the org. Joel, do you want to announce it or should I?
Since I last sent it to you, there was actually a very minor update to the vote, so I can go ahead and announce it.
Perfect, thank you.
The student organization of the supply chain management did end up passing with 10 yeses, 1 no, and 1 abstain.
All right, congratulations, SCM. You are now officially newest org on campus. Woo.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. So if no one else has any thing to add, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I add something?
Yeah, of
actually?
course. Yeah.
Considering everything we just went through, I would like to hear perspectives on, I would like to hear perspectives about what can be done about these various things after the meeting, if you would not mind staying around afterwards.
Do you just want senators or everyone on the call to stay on or?
Anyone.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So anyone, we're about to officially adjourn, but after we adjourn and stop live streaming, feel free. I won't end the call. I'll just hop off myself, I guess. And then you can discuss with Joel. So yeah, thank you for that. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Wyatt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, both Elio, Jason, and Samir. Can I get the reactions? Check mark for yes, X for no. Couple more check marks. Okay, I think that's more than half. We are officially adjourned.